Hi, this is Sandy,
And this is Trina.
and we're back again with another great topic. And what's that topic, Trina?
Well, um, let's talk about just decisions that you make when you're in a grief posture.
All right, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I mean, there are so many
Mm,
decisions to be made,
wow.
um, and so we want to just have a conversation with you about the decisions that come up that take you in a lane that will be with you
Mm,
for much longer than even your pain. So it's these
wow.
these life decisions that you make while you're in pain, while you have a grief experience, while you have that hurt. And so I guess I wish I had a sign that says caution.
Mm,
And so that's what kind of comes up for me. Just
mm-hmm.
some of the things that might happen. And Sandy and I talked about how we feel, how that impacts what we decide.
Right.
And so
It's a very, very serious conversation today because it's one that Trina mentioned that can be life lasting or for a
mhm,
very long time.
mhm,
And in the midst of your grief and in your pain and in your hurt, we don't always make the best decisions
mhm,
because there's so many emotions and there's so many feelings that we're trying to navigate. And there's so much information that's coming at us and so many things to be processed
mhm,
that it's easy. I've been there. It's easy if you're not careful, if you're not mindful, intentional about the decisions that you make,
mhm,
can leave you devastated
mhm,
long term.
mhm.
And so that's what we want to talk about today, how you can literally be split in half on these two different sides of the mind, making and confirming some of your decisions
Mhm.
that you choose. And so, Trina, if you want to give us some examples, or
I mean, one thing that really comes to mind is something that my pastor at my church says. He goes, "Your facts, I mean, your feelings are not your facts."
mm,
And I that's really used to kind of disagree with him. We are feeling beings, right? And so what I have to say, it's true.
mm-hmm,
Your feelings are not always your facts. I want you to think about a time when you have said, "I feel like you," and you fill in the blank. "I feel
mm,
like you don't like me, or you disrespect me. I feel like," in whatever it is,
mm-hmm,
when you fill in that blank. But truth be told, your feelings are not your facts. When in
right,
fact you may be feeling something, and I admire you, I adore you, I may not dislike you at all. So how then do we make decisions on more factual information?
right,
Because we are in a feeling state. That's what
right,
grief is.
mm-hmm,
Grief will have you just
yeah,
feeling all kinds of things. Like Sandy said, you almost split in two.
mm-hmm,
Rational side, extreme hurt side.
right.
And so some decisions though will change the whole life setting for
It's
you.
so true.
It depending on how you make them. And one of the things that comes up for me is the thought of, like, we have all of these cliches that come up,
Mm,
right? You've heard them. You all have heard
mm,
them too. Like, in the midst of that grief, well, life is short.
mm,
And so, you know, what you waiting on?
right.
You might as well do it.
Yes.
You never know when
Mm-hmm,
you're going to get this
mm-hmm,
chance again. And so we go for the feeling. So
right,
we go from feeling bad, that split, to wanting to feel good,
right.
right? And so some decisions uh, might cause us to have some remorse.
I'm going to give you guys an example of something I personally went through. After my husband passed away, I was left with this big old house and a mortgage and car note and PG&E and da da and da da and da da. So I was getting all this feeling. You don't need this big old house. You should just go sell this house and you should buy you something small and you don't need this and you should go do that. Take that money and go. And I was getting all these opinions and all this
Mm,
advice. And so one morning I woke up and I said, they right. I'm going to sell this house.
Mm.
So I decided I was going to sell the house. Call my realtor. We started painting. I started taking pictures off of the wall. Started making it ready for sale. And then one day, within this time period, it was as if God had just spoken to me, literally, and said, "But you haven't even tried to
Mm.
see what you can do to keep this house. You haven't even thought about a plan. You haven't even made the effort. Do you want this house? Do you want to sell this house?" So then it became me asking myself questions.
Mm.
What do I want versus what the world, is trying to make life easier for me and make these decisions. But I say that to say this: had I not stopped, and if I was just simply acting on emotion, which we often do, if we're not careful, it could be the wrong. It could be the one choice that we make could be our biggest regret. And
Mm.
I'm so glad I kept my house as long as I did, because when I thought about it, it brought tears to my eyes to even think about walking away from it without making the effort, without trying, because that's really what I wanted. But I couldn't hear what I wanted because I was too busy listening to what everybody else wanted for me.
Mm-hmm. That's good right there. That is good. The good part is that you. I wish we had that caution sign
Mm-hmm.
that you
Mm-hmm.
stopped.
Mm-hmm.
That is some advice we would give you all too. Just stop. Just be quiet for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I've heard you give that advice, Trina. I've heard you say, don't make any sudden big decisions
yeah,
suddenly.
yeah. Within at least, and I mean, there's a lot of information out there that might suggest to wait 2 years. I mean, I wouldn't say that to you if you have some need, if you have an
Right,
immediate need, if
right,
you have to sell a
right,
house,
right.
if you have to do certain things.
By
I
all
wouldn't say,
means.
we don't want you to get,
Right,
an eviction notice or some other issue to
right,
happen. We want you to be
right,
mindful of your decisions,
right.
that you stop, that you really think about
Mm-hmm.
the next thing that could happen, and that it won't be a regret later on
That part.
down the line. And
Absolutely.
so even if it's that,
Yes.
we've had another segment where we say, be good to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
do that thing that you've always wanted to do. Um, but be sensible about
Mm-hmm.
it, and weigh the consequences to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know what to do, then that
Mm-mm.
means do nothing for that
Mm-hmm.
particular. If
Mm-hmm.
you absolutely don't know what to
Mm-hmm.
do, don't do anything. Get very quiet. Seek advice from people that are experts in that,
Right.
not people who are really caring about what you should have, or they believe what you shouldn't or shouldn't do. Like, people go out and buy cars, and
Mm-hmm.
they just it's an emotional, impulsive decision.
Right.
And so you have to be careful with that. You have to be careful what you buy,
Mm-hmm.
and even what you sell,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there is some definitely some what we would call grief
Mm-hmm.
remorse that you could find yourself in. Just remember, your feelings
Right.
are not your facts.
Right.
Your life is definitely going to change as a result of the loss.
And we're not even talking about just tangible things. We're talking about even people entering and exiting out of your life, and the
Mm-hmm.
decisions that you're making, with people around you.
Mm-hmm. Now that's a good point,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, even jumping into another
Right.
relationship, right? People will catch a person in a grief posture very
Yes.
vulnerable.
Yes.
You've heard that there's some people that get married within months,
Right.
or remarried within months. So, any decision that will change your life, slow down. Just wait for a minute. Just stop for a minute, and
Mm-hmm.
we even invite you to throw any questions you might have in the chat. You can send them anonymous. Just anything that you might be struggling with right now, that
Right.
am I sure about. Should I? People that are close to you are really possibly looking
Yes.
out for you, but at the end of the day, even if you think they
Mm-hmm.
have your best interests at hand, what is your best interest?
Right.
And does that make sense to do? Emotionally, you might feel like it does, and One thing.
Well, I think, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but I think sometimes we're trying to escape the pain and the hurt.
That's exactly
And
it.
so we tend to want to do things or, be around things that are going to make us feel better. So we think
Right.
if we go out and buy a car, a house, clothes, whatever it is that you're spending money, it's a deflection, it's a distraction.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's where you got to be cautious.
Right. That is the remorse you might find yourself in. Like, what have I done? It might not even be this year, this not in a few months, but later on down the line, those long-term commitments that you might find yourself in, be it marriage, be it buying a home, buying a car, just some of those long-term commitments that you might make when you're not, completely healed from the grief experience.
Great.
You might find yourself again that.
Absolutely.
And so if you're gonna do something impulsive, this is my rule of thumb. Make it be $100 or less. Impulsively go buy that dress or the shoes, right? Go ahead and do something impulsive, but that it doesn't have a long-term commitment to it. And stop. I want you to stop and think, so that you won't have any regrets that will always be tied to this grief experience.
That's good. It's really good.
Well, that's what we hope. We hope to give you something good, but we also hope to give you something lasting as well that you could use. So
we definitely do, and we hope that you find the information that we're giving you useful, if not for yourself, to someone that you love. And if you would like to share this, we would love for you to do so. And please, your feedback is always welcome. We love to hear what you think or what you have experienced and that we could talk about. Is also exciting for us to get the feedback. We love that. And I think on that note, don't forget to find your lighthouse.
It'll help you find your way out of the darkness.
Until next time, friends.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.